I think the idea of making a racing game is fun, and then people get caught up on how to actually do it. So let's take a look at this very basic racetrack. You have this red finish line and a player that can move around. So when a race starts, what's actually forcing our player to proceed through the track as expected, when what could happen is the player could just go across the finish line and go back, and that should consider itself crossing the finish line. How do we actually track our players progressing through the course? And on top of that, in games like Mario Kart, when you start heading the wrong direction, it usually lets you know that you're going in reverse. So let's take a look at this updated racetrack now. We still have our red finish line, our blue player that can move around, and now we have these 3 green lines that represent checkpoints. And normally as the player goes through the level, they'd be passing through these unknowingly because they would be invisible. And so these checkpoints are actually what's going to drive our progress of the track. So let's say the race just started. If our player now tries to go behind the finish line and go back through, we can actually run a check to say, hey, you're not at the end of the race yet. You haven't gone through any of the checkpoints on the track, so there's no way you're ready to finish the lap. Whereas if the player goes through 1, 2, 3, it knows, hey, you've hit all the checkpoints on the map, and now the only thing left to do would be finish the track. And so these checkpoints are really the key to determining how a racetrack is set up. And let's take one last look at an example of this track. Let's say we introduced a shortcut right up the middle, and you notice none of the checkpoints are actually taking account of that. This is where you have to be smart with your track design. In this case, you'll want to make sure that you set up your checkpoints appropriately so that they can handle any shortcuts you have on your track. I'm sure you could also engineer something so certain checkpoints have special conditions to check, maybe to handle a shortcut case, but that's probably more in depth than we want to go to in this tutorial. So I'm going to show you how to set up a lap system, because it's actually pretty simple once you wrap your head around it. So I have this 2D Unity project here, and I'll quickly show you what I have set up already. We have our main camera. We can expand this racetrack object, and really what this is 5 squares that just have a box collider 2D on them, and I just changed their scaling around, so this is like a single box. They don't do anything special, they're literally just walls. Under this empty triggers object, I have a finish line that is also just a square that I've colored red, and I've given it a box collider 2D with isTrigger set to true. So that's the only difference here. We have our player, which is a circle, getting exciting. I colored him blue. I gave him a circle collider 2D with default settings. I have gave him a Rigidbody 2D that has gravity scale set to 0 instead of 1. The rest are default settings. And then I have this player movement script with a movement speed of 5, and I attached the Rigidbody as a public field as well. Here's my player movement script. I've covered this in so many tutorials now, so I won't here, but take a minute to pause and copy it if you want. With racing games, you could be in a vehicle, you could be a person running, you could be in a spaceship. Like, it's really subjective to your game of how you want movement to work and acceleration. So this is just a really basic script to get going. And whenever you feel like you're set up and ready to go, here's the first thing we're gonna do. So the first thing I'll do is select our finish line here, and I'm gonna create a new component, and I'm gonna call this Lap Manager, and we'll create a new script for that. And then for my game, I'm gonna go and create some squares, thin them out a little bit, and place them around the map. And these are what's gonna act as my checkpoints. And the main thing we want on our checkpoints is a box collider 2D, because these are shaped like rectangles. And we just want to set isTrigger to true, similar to our finish line. I'll rename this a checkpoint, and I'll give it that green back from the beginning. And on these, I'm going to give them a script called checkpoint. I'll create a new script called checkpoint and add it to it. And at this point, you can go ahead and Control-D duplicate these and place them around the map wherever you want. So I'll go ahead and make 3 just for an example. That's fine. And for now, I'll leave these as visible, but you could select them and then just disable their sprite renderers. So you'll still have their collision boxes set up for the trigger, but you won't actually see them as you're racing. But again, I'll leave them on just so we know what's going on here. All right, so with our scene set up and our scripts on the appropriate objects, let's go ahead and change our player first. On our player, what we actually want to track is what lap we're on and also like how many checkpoints we've passed through. And we could make a new script for this, but I'm just going to make use of the player movement script because it's just a few variables. So feel free to do whatever, but at the top of my player movement script, what I'm going to say is public int lap number and public int checkpoint index. And then I'm going to add the start method back, and we'll just initialize these so that every time we start the game, it's reset. We can set the lap number to 1, and we'll set the checkpoint index equal to 0 because we haven't hit any checkpoints yet. We can then go to our checkpoint script, and this one's actually going to be very straightforward. We can get rid of start and update because we're just going to be checking collision here. But what we want to do is give this a public int index that we can set it through the inspector. We can then say void on trigger enter 2D, which gives us a collider 2D object and a collision argument. And here we just want to verify it's the player. So we can do that check by using tags and seeing if the player has the player tag, or we can just see if they have the player movement component. So what we can say is if the collision.gameObject.getComponent of type player movement, and then make sure you have the parentheses because you're invoking this. If the game object we're colliding with has a player movement script, then we'll enter this if block. At that point, we want to actually save off our player movement script and get a reference of it. So we'll say player movement player equals collision.gameObject.getComponent of type player movement, same as the if statement. We now want to make sure that we're actually setting our index appropriately so that we're not just skipping indexes all over the place. So what we could say is if our player.checkpoint index is equal to the current index of this checkpoint minus 1, then we'll set the player.checkpoint index equal to this index. Right, so we want to just make sure that if we are... Right, so if these green checkpoints are 1, 2, 3, and we've just passed through 1, we want to make sure that when we try and hit 2, the current checkpoint index matches up, right? So we know as we're going from 1 to 2. And that's all this is doing right here. We're just updating it appropriately so we're not skipping all over the place. And that's going to be it for our checkpoint script. Finally, we have our lap manager. And this is also a very simple script. We basically just want to determine what lap we're on and if we finished the race or not. So what we can do is say public list of checkpoints. And I'll call this checkpoints. And then we also want a public int of total laps. Again, we'll do our void onTriggerEntered2D. And again, we'll say if our collision.gameObject.getComponent is of type player movement, then we know we're colliding with the player here. And then we also want to get a reference of this player movement script. So we'll do the same exact thing again. Copy and pasting here is a good idea, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, so once we have a reference to our player movement script, what we want to say is if our player.checkpointIndex is equal to our checkpoints.count, and we do want to do checkpoints.count, not count minus 1 like you'll see in some cases, because checkpoints are always going to start at 1, right? It'll be like 1, 2, 3. If you have a checkpoint index of 0, that means you haven't hit any yet, so it wouldn't make sense to do that. But assuming you have this set up here, right? You have 1, 2, 3 checkpoints. So the player's checkpoint index should be 3, because that's the total amount. They've gone through all of them. And so if we have a player index of 3 and it equals 3, we know we are ready to, finish the lap off because you've gone through all the checkpoints. So we can reset our player checkpoint index now because you've gotten to a new lap. So we'll say player checkpoint index equals 0. We could say player.lap number plus plus. So we're incrementing our lap number. And now we just want to see if we finish the race. Like, let's say there was 3 laps on this and we've gone through it. What we want to say is if our player.lap number is greater than our total laps, then this is where you would end the race. For now, I'll just do like a debug.log statement and say you won. And then actually right before this check, just so we know what's going on when we test this, I'll add another debug log and say, in a formatted string, I'll say you are now on lap player.lap number out of total laps. And that's it for all the code we're going to write in this tutorial. The last thing we want to do is go through our checkpoints. So following my mouse, I want my player to go down, up, right, and back around. So this will be index of 1. This checkpoint on the left will be an index of 2, and this checkpoint at the top I'll set to an index of 3 in the checkpoint scripts. I'll click on my finish line, and on the top right of my inspector, I'm actually going to lock this. And this way I can select my checkpoint and shift click down so I have all of my checkpoints selected, and then click and drag them into the checkpoints list here, and you'll see it populate. And then I'm just going to set my total laps to 2 just to test this. So we know how many checkpoints we have. Our checkpoints are now set up correctly with their proper indexes, and we have our lap set up. So at this point, when we actually go to play, we can race through our track here, which is very exciting. I should have made my move speed faster. And when we get to the end of our first lap, we can see our console is now saying you are on lap 2 of 2. So this should be the final lap. And as we go through it again, then it should tell us that, hey, you're on lap 3 of 2, you won. And so you could have logic here that actually like resets your game, or it says you won, or maybe you actually have other racers involved and you didn't win, you got last because you suck. But I'll let you kind of handle that. Right now, what we have proven is that our lap system is working. And to handle the other case, you'll notice if I just go back through this finish line and try and do it again, then it's fine. It's actually not going to update any of these checkpoints until you hit this first one first. right? Because we start at 0, and this is checkpoint 1, and we need to be at 0 to hit 1. Once we set our player to checkpoint 1, and we try and go through 2, you have to have 1, right? So you have to progressively go through it. You can't just skip by going backwards. And if you did want it to be like Mario Kart, where when you're going in the wrong direction, it says, hey, you're going in reverse, what would happen is once you hit this checkpoint 3, your index would be 0, and it said, oh, you're trying to go to like a much higher checkpoint. You must be going in reverse or whatever, right? Or you could kind of like count backwards from the list. Anyway, something like 20 lines of code, you can set up an entire lap system for your racing game. So definitely give this a try and make a little prototype and see how it comes out. Thanks for watching.